This tutorial will show you how to use a tool length sensor. So first we need to set it up. So what we're going to do here, we're going to come to our machine and we're going to check to make sure that the tool length sensor is working. So we go to configuration, or controller, input line status, and now you can see tool length sensor is on input line number 7. Right now it's closed, so we need to press it and you see that it comes open. Now let go, it goes closed again. That's how we know it works. So once you've checked that, you can now put the sensor into position on the machine. And now what we will do is we will jog the machine to be over the tool length sensor. So we go to our jog tools and we move the machine. Now when you jog your machine over, you want to make sure that your tool is a good 1.5 centimeters above the top of the plunger. This allows you to change in longer tools without running into the plunger before you're ready to sense. So now we come back over to our screen and we see the machine coordinates. Now we're going to use these machine coordinates, the initial sensing length. So we go to configuration, sensing, tool length sensing, and open it up. Now over here we see that we have 50 or 51.06, so we can come here and that's going to be our sensor position X. It's 51.216, so we can round it off to 50 because it's close enough that it's still going to be on the sensing head. And then for Y, we match the Y over here. It's negative 173, so we do negative 172 here. That's fine. Raise position. Now this is the very start position to make for all the moves to get over to the sensor. You want this to be as high as possible without hitting the trigger, so we just go negative 1 millimeter down from the very top of the Z. Now your start position should be the position that your tool is in right now. The raised position with at least 1.5 centimeters above the sensor, and your finished position needs to be lower than the sensor top is itself, so that it can touch down on it and measure the tool. Now these other settings will automatically be there, and you need to just make sure that the monitor input is on line 7, where we showed you the trigger was working on, so that it doesn't accidentally use something else and not trigger properly. Now once you've set all these up, you need to go set up the input line to make sure it's correct. So input line 7, make sure you choose control. Location is not necessary, leave it not applicable. And in description you put tool sensor. Once you've set all these settings, click OK. Now we can go over here and choose a tool. This is the first tool we're using, so we're gonna choose tool number 1. Now you want to do this to get the length of the tool. It's very important so that you can reference all the tools off to it, so you can change your tools out in between jobs without having to recalibrate. So we click length. It will ask you to make sure you're sure. In case there's something in the way, you might want to get out of the way. Then once everything's okay, you click OK. Now the tool will raise to the very top, move over to where you told it to sense at, go quickly down to that point you started at, and then move very slowly as it approaches the sensor to be as accurate as possible when it touches it. Alright, once it touches, it'll lift off, and you can see here tool number 1 now reads a length of negative 97.46 from the machine 0 of Z. Now whenever you need to add a new tool, you change to tool number 2, and then you do a length, and it will get the length of that tool, and will offset it automatically from the length of tool number 1. Once you've all your settings saved, you need to go over to File, you need to go to Save Setup, and Save Tooling. This way, if your machine ever gets shut down, the power goes out, or someone else comes by and uses it and doesn't set it off right, you can just move back to your 0 point that you set in the earlier tutorial, and then use the tool sensor to set the offset for whatever tool you want to put in there.